Hey guys, welcome to today's show. First, we want to throw out there to Deep Fried Studios. We're in the new studio at the new container yard here in Mobile. They've moved. The place is fabulous, but there is still a little bit of construction going on. So if you hear some hammering nails, that's just progress at work. And today's show is sponsored by Payroll Vault, which we haven't done that before. So we're going to hit some highlights about payroll and talk about payroll in general. And hopefully we can give you guys some good information to use in your own business. I'm Karen. I'm a CPA, entrepreneur with big ideas, and I'm the mom.
I'm Cadie. I'm a payroll specialist, business owner, and detail-oriented person that makes things happen, and I'm the daughter. Welcome to Cheers to Business.
All right, Cadie, since you've always known more about payroll since you were 14 than me, I kind of stuck to the other areas, and you've loved payroll. You're good at it. What do you like most about payroll?
Consistency. It's predictable.
I think that's because you grew up with me.
Yeah. Complete opposite of your life. No, and it's a service that's needed. Business owners, if payroll isn't done right, it's not like it generates money. It's spend time processing payroll, or you could spend time putting out bids for new jobs or collecting past due invoices from, customers or clients. So it's a way for us to help other businesses streamline their business.
I like it because, and one reason we both jumped in on this is because I'm a big proponent of outsourcing. I love outsourcing. But I'll tell you the truth, outsourcing payroll is not everybody's best fit. Going to a big corporate payroll may be a good fit for somebody. And I'll throw it out, the ADPs and stuff like that. I think PEOs, ELMs, a local company here that's a leasing company, I think those are good fits at certain times. I don't think that Payroll Vault is the magic fit for every single company and every single situation. Do you agree?
I completely agree. Everybody can do payroll. There's so many options, which is why it's so important when you are ready to outsource, if you're doing it in-house currently or if you're new to payroll, it's important to talk to different companies to figure out how much service they're going to give you, how much they're going to charge you, and sometimes the cheapest option isn't the best option because at the end of the day, how much value are they going to provide to you and how often are they going to be there for you? If you email at 7:00 and it's after business hours, are they going to answer and things like that?
Yeah, totally agree. And I've seen some where they charge on percentage of payroll. Why should the payroll company make more if just because the checks are bigger?
So that's the difference between leasing and outsourcing. So leasing, they're technically, to put it very simply, they're employees of the leasing company. So you're paying a percentage of the gross payroll, whereas outsourcing, it's more of a fixed flat fee where you're most likely charged based on the number of employees.
But they can offer in the perfect situation workman's comp or different things or different health insurance for. There's different things they bring to the table.
It's built in. So yes, however, it's kind of apples to oranges where the structure of those things.
So what kind of technology is out there for people now? Because I think it's really cool.
I think the biggest thing that is not utilized enough, especially for small businesses, is electronic timekeeping. I hear a lot, they just write down their time. Okay, well, how accurate is that? If you take 5 minutes over 5 employees for 6 months, that's a lot of time.
A lot of money.
A lot of money, because not just the payroll, but the employer taxes as well, tax that you're paying on that payroll.
Yeah, you've got to match the Social Security and Medicare. That's 7.65%. It starts adding up.
Not just to mention, not wasted money, but inaccurate time. But for audit purposes, if you were to go through a Department of Labor audit,
and they're worse than the IRS.
Which
I'm just saying.
As small, mom and pop businesses, they often think that they're not subject. We're dealing with one right now for a client where it's, about 10 employees. She's been open for 2 years and she got randomly selected.
Oh my God.
And so the electronic, it's much more employer friendly if an audit was to come up, just because there's a trail of the timekeeping. And it's a lot more accurate.
Can I tell the story that we were first told when we were looking at Payroll Vault when we were in Denver?
I don't know if I know that story.
Oh my God, it's so cute. Okay, so the first timekeeping story they told us, which was about a dog walk, which is really big in Denver. And so this guy gotten so big that he hired some people to walk the dogs for him. Well, one person wrote down on their timesheet that they were there and walked all the dogs. Well, come to find out, that person didn't really show up for work, and all the dogs went in the houses that day. So he did some research, and the Payroll Vault up there helped him out, and the people are clocking in and out with GPS capability on their smartphones and it's face recognition. So in order for his employees now to clock in and out, they have to have a picture with the dog, and it recognizes it and clocks them in, shows them. So he started paying by stop and saved tons of money and helped his reputation in town, and his business just tripled. I thought that was amazing.
Good story.
Do you remember that story?
I do.
Okay, cool. So tell me about the one thing that nobody ever, and I know how you're going to answer this, but how am I billed? How much am I? What am I getting for my price tag? And that's one question we're trained not to answer so much because it depends on what they need.
Most of the time when you're outsourcing your payroll, you're going to be charged per payroll. So if you're new to payroll, that's an important question because you need to think about, if I do weekly, that's going to be 52 payrolls. If I do every other week, biweekly, that's going to be 26. So it's going to cut your payroll cost in half. And often it's really hard to switch from weekly to every other week. So you want to, have that set at the very beginning when you're starting payroll.
You help with all that, right?
We do.
All right. Another thing, I've seen a problem in transitioning, and I want to talk about the length of transition on average that you see. In the transitioning is people are used to paying quarterly or monthly for their payroll taxes and then coming up and having to need a big amount at one time. Whereas this process, you're pulling all the payroll taxes in, everything, 401k, the garnishments, and you're handling all of that at the time of payroll.
So a good payroll company will manage your payroll taxes. So each payroll, they're drafting the taxes so that they can pay them on your behalf.
So no late fees ever.
Right. And then same thing with any payroll deduction. So health insurance, retirement, garnishment, they are taking care of those on your behalf if you want them to.
What if a catastrophe happens? I mean, we live in hurricane land. I mean, one went to the right of us and one went to the left of us. And if Jim Cantori comes here from the Weather Channel, I mean, that's the only time anybody hears about Mobile, Alabama anyway. What if one hits?
Payroll goes on. Payroll doesn't stop. So, we have the ability to work remotely. So life goes on.
Head north?
Exactly.
Okay. Hunker down. That's what they say here. There's a thin line between if somebody's an employee or a contractor. What if somebody has employees and what if somebody has contractors?
Well, we can pay either as other payroll companies. The most important thing is, you as the employer just classifying what they are. And oftentimes people are misclassified. You can do anything you want to. You get caught.
I love that saying.
I'm not. If you choose to pay them as a subcontractor and they're an employee, I'm going to advise against it.
Because they can come back later and charge you for their, not only the FICA tax, but they can charge you for the withholding tax too.
Yeah. So, you could, if someone was misclassified, you could owe those back taxes along with penalties and interest. So it's a risk for sure. So
it's a high priced risk.
The IRS has a 20-factor test to help determine someone's classification. And it's fairly simple to understand. Are you dictating how they complete the job? Are you telling them when to work, where to be? Are they using your supplies? And if you're honest with those questions, it should help you classify whether they're a sub or an employee.
And it's better to be safe than sorry.
Absolutely. If you're doubting what they are, then they're most likely an employee.
All right. How long does it take to usually transition? People think it's a really big deal, but it's not, is it?
People are very scared to change payroll companies, but it's really easy, especially if you're moving to a good payroll company. They let you know all the documentation that they need to get onboarded because they have to load in everything that has happened previously in the year so that when W-2s are generated, they have all the data for the whole year.
And the payroll tax returns don't get messed up.
Exactly. It depends on how many employees you have, but typically, whether it be a few hours or a few days, it really just depends on the size of the company. But it's an easy process. We know what we're doing. We just need the information.
All right. And there's so much good info today. Cadie, we just covered Payroll 101. So as your co-podcaster groupie here, I want to thank you and Payroll Vault for sponsoring today's show. You guys have so many other services that we didn't even touched on, the 401k, the workman comp audits, the pay-as-you-go workman's comp, the HR.
The list goes on.
And the list goes on. I'm going to stop. But if people have questions, because there is so much, how do they get in touch with you?
Definitely visit our website, payrollvault.com, or just put Payroll Vault into Google. Check out our Facebook page, Payroll Vault Mobile, Alabama, or give us a call, 251-243-0902. We also have email that you could email questions to, which is support124@payrollvault.com.
So if somebody wants to make an appointment with you, what's the best way to do that and get in touch?
Yeah, we definitely recommend that if you do have questions or want to start services, because we need to find out exactly what you need. There's questions to go through to make sure that it's a good fit even. So just give us a call or visit us online and we can set that up.
All right, great.
I'd like to add one thing though, because payroll is often overlooked. Small business owners think they can do it themselves or they have someone internally doing it. Payroll is important. It doesn't bring the business any money. If anything, it costs the business money. And whether you're, one person sole proprietor needing a monthly payroll or you've got 500 people weekly, we're the payroll experts. We're the payroll specialists. It's what we do best. We want you to go do what you do best. And the only way that you'll have time to do that is if you get payroll off of your plate. Whether you look at Payroll Vault or one of the other local companies or national companies, there's lots of options. It's something that you need to look into and explore.
Totally agree. It worked for me. All right, that is such good info. And that's why I love today's show. And I tell you what, guys, if you've enjoyed it, we'd like for you to check us out for this show and other shows. We're up in episode 30s now with a lot of good information. And most of it's information that we've lived through and been through. And you can catch us on iTunes or Spotify, iHeart app, and any of your podcast normal places. We also have I can't say www. See, Cadie gets me all the time. At cheerstobusiness.com, or check out our Facebook. We're up in like 750 likes. We've had 1,000 listens. Get on our bandwagon, man. We love having you for the ride. And we want more people to hear this. So if we've given you any kind of value at all, please go on to iTunes and rate us and help us move up in the tracks. We're really wanting to take this somewhere and help as many people as we can. And we want to thank you again for listening. We need you for this show. I guess it's time for it. You ready? Cheers to payroll. Y'all, thank you so much for listening and being here with us today. I'm Karen.
I'm Cadie. Please be sure to subscribe to Cheers to Business podcast on iTunes or anywhere else that you get your podcast. Visit our Facebook and be sure to give us a like. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to discuss, shoot us an email from the website cheerstobusiness.com.